events within a split.
It would be quite the run for them to do so, but I don't think EnVy will be as easy a meal as some might initially think. They have been playing quite well today, and Turbo is a force to be reckoned with when he's got nothing to lose, that is for sure. So I'm looking forward to see how this one plays out. G2 going to be reeling from the long series they had against FaZe with the eventual loss, and EnVy might as well just go back to the well and see what you can do. JNap's denied by Drees at the start of the game.
G2 in the orange, EnVy in the blue, a best of 7 to stay alive in this third event of our spring split. Chicago demolished in midfield. Drees to try and pick it up and take it out in a retaliatory demolition. Chicago on the outside here. Drees rocking the stock car.
Oh boy.
There's Mist to put it down, sacked away by JNaps. We'll stay scoreless.
That's an incredible defensive read from JNaps. I mean, Mist got all the way around the outside of that ball, was looking to go all the way to the lower corner of the net, and JNaps all over it. Huge defensive stop.
Mist keeps it lofted in front of G2's goal. JNaps airborne, flip reset, extends it to Turbo. Now Chicago picking up control against Drees in the corner. Gets a bump on one, not going to find the second. Mist to put it away. Interesting note, because it doesn't happen that often. EnVy playing without an Octane on the pitch between the stock car, Dominus, and Fennec. Often you see a team play without the Octane.
We'll count it, though. Fennec is essentially Octane. Chicago going to drop one into the top left-hand corner of the net. Missed. I think got a little twisted up here in the goal line. That little backward touch. Hoping Drees was going to come out with it, and just trying to give himself a little space by rotating into the net to see where the shot was coming from, and Chicago didn't give him any time to react. Perfect shot into the top left.
G2 strikes first. The beautiful drop. Atomic now looking for the pass down. JNaps has got the whole net to shoot out. Make it 2 off a kickoff.
No chance for this one as well. The perfect kickoff. Atomic straight through everybody. Goes for the boost steal in the corner, which means he gets to win the race up the wall. And JNaps is like, cool. Atomic's just better. That's good enough for me.
God, it's really great when your teammates are just better.
It really helps a lot, that's for sure.
Give you the 3 shots here. Drees now going to take control after the kickoff. Turbo over 1. Closing on the ball, but Chicago wins the challenge. Demolished now. Drees on the far side. No boost to work with. Will turn around after punting it into enemy territory. JNaps chasing this down. Dunked by Mist. Falls to midfield, picks up the boost, and gets the follow-up challenge on Chicago. Connects with Turbo. Atomic's got a block on the goal line and makes the stop. Turbo will look for the demos, but not going to find anything. Drees to Mist now. Blocked the point of contact. G2 defending well.
Yeah, G2 definitely a capable defensive team, especially in JNaps. He knows exactly where the defense and offense needs to be aligned. Great at understanding the passing lanes. He's going to go in one-on-one here against Mist. Actually, he's going to stall it out in the box, and thankfully Turbo says, we'll just get it out on a dribble, give ourselves a little more time here, but time definitely becoming a factor. EnVy not spent too much time on the orange half here. Finally, another shot on target, and that one taken away by Chicago.
The combo power in those two teammates. Looking for the pinch, but still blocked the point of contact. Now across halftime, G2 with all the goals in the series. Breeze down the field. Atomic play to his own corner. EnVy have had a few good looks, but the G2 defense really playing strong in front of the box and then perfectly on the goal line so far.
Definitely might become a little bit of a punt game for EnVy here, as they just have to try and clear as much distance as possible and hope that they can get one of those real strong challenges on the attempted clears. Turbo with a few chain dashes on the wall. Unfortunately, not enough to get him up in time for a contest. As JNap's looking for the top of the box for Atomic, and that's right at Mist, and time continues to tick.
139. JNap's to the backboard. Chicago to try and drop it. For a moment, I thought Chicago we were on his perspective. Thought that was a defender in the backboard, but no, in the cherry pick. And now JNap's with an open backboard, misses the follow-up. Chicago not going to be able to reach it as Drees gets airborne quickly. Chicago now extends it to his own corner. Atomic looking for JNap's, a little bit low on boost and covered up by Turbo. He won't gain control just yet. Miz now looking to start the scoring off for EnVy. He puts it wide of the goal, back into the box, and JNap's scoops it off to the corner. Drees now past one. Not going to find the follow-up. Missed. Blocked as well. Turbo falling back on defense. G2 with an open net here. Chicago will shoot. Put it behind Turbo for goal number 3.
That's just not fair. Turbo sees that first pass out, knows he's the one on the hook to make this save, and he has to dive at that.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to hit him with the backflip and tap it into the corner behind him, I mean, goodbye game one. I thought Turbo played that right. There's just no hope.
He blocked the most of the net he possibly could, but just a wealth of options for G2. Make it four. Put away game number 1. Minute left to play, doesn't matter.
Tough one to handle. A couple of really nice kickoffs here for G2 as well.
Yeah.
And Atomic just catching Turbo, not really sleeping or anything, but he was definitely in the middle of the box, which makes that play a lot more difficult to make as it's smashed over your shoulder off the backboard. Got to make a perfect read on the way up, and that'll definitely put game 1 out of reach. I really did like G2's understanding of how EnVy wanted to approach on offense in that final minute when they really got there. You definitely knew that they were going to be trying to get physical, send people in front of the ball, and Atomic in particular was making some excellent reads on where the play was headed and making sure that EnVy didn't find a way back into the game here at the end of game 1.
This was Atomic in particular has really impressed me on all sides of the ball. He played nearly a perfect game here. 1 goal, 3 assists, 3 saves. He's been huge for G2's offense. Both the setups here and their kickoff goals. Atomic, real strong efficiency, particularly following kickoff.
Yeah, certainly reads the game incredibly well, understands how to support a lot of the pushes from Chicago and JNAPS. He's always positioned very optimally in terms of being able to follow up anything. As here's a 3-man effort for EnVy, unfortunately going to find its way off the post at 0 seconds, and the ball's is it gonna hit it? Yes, it will. All the way to Chicago. You had to put it with an exclamation point, didn't you?
There's something special about it's 4-0 at 0 seconds. The game has been over for a while, and Dries is like, look, we're just going to try and put 1 on the board. And G2 says, oh, you wanted to keep going. Well, let us remind you what the score was. Let's make it 5-0 here. G2, a dominant first game.
Tough one as well, I think. This is normally a game where I watch and I think, well, definitely ball control is going to be the way forward. You can't really afford to get into the punting match against a team like G2, but only problem with that is the ball spends so much time high in the air with so much pace that you don't really have an option except to punt the ball back and forth, and that's just definitely going to favor G2 in that regard because, Turbo's been playing well this whole weekend, I should say, but if you're going to come out here and say that he's not 100% and he's not a little rusty, and I think your challenge game's just going to take a little bit of a hit if Turbo hasn't been like, I'm a top level RLCS competitor, and I think 3 people getting up there with the right timing and the perfect challenges all the time is definitely going to outmatch an EnVy team that is a little bit shot in the foot here.
Yeah, I would love to be on the Jorby side. I've been a big fan of the Turbo story my whole life, and yes, him coming from a substitute situation, that rings some bells. We've seen him in that situation before get the most important wins, but Subi's point that was season 3 is a good one. And we do see a card change here from Dries, swapping off the Mustang, and it looks like, well, let's see here. Mist also going to go to the Octane. I haven't caught what Dries is driving. Dries also driving. They went double Octane. Let's double back up.
I actually don't really mind Mist going for the Octane. I myself have been dabbling with the dark arts and being a trader to the long car. And it is an incredibly stable car. You really can throw yourself at just about anything and know that you're going to land pretty solidly and hit the ball with some fairly good consistency no matter which part you catch it in. And that is something that I perhaps haven't given it enough credit for.
I think the long car is definitely the dark arts in this analogy.
It's true. I am the black magic user. Yeah. It's true.
The Octane is 100% the Gryffindor of Rocket League. Bump to the outside. Atomic here. Control out to Chicago. He's got JNAPS behind. Mist and Dries covering on defense. Ball goes to JNAPS. Places it well, but Mist keeps his wheels about him. Flies to the corner and blocks. Now with a follow-up block as well. Mist will send it to the back third, and Chicago and JNAP's going to have to play some cleanup duty. Everybody on EnVy kind of just stuck on their own half there with no boost. They just had to wait and have it spawn and let G2 have possession here. And I don't know if that's going to make a difference. Oh, it absolutely will. Oh
my goodness gracious me. They just had to wait on their own half. G2 has time to construct the counterattack. And how about you set up a great triangle play and Atomic, real nice finish into the net. Didn't have to be strong, just had to get it around the guy diving at the corner. What a shot, what a pass, what a setup.
Clean play. EnVy only challenging on one of those 3 touches and not getting as much of a whisker of a touch on the ball. G2 is gonna, you give them three touches like that, they're gonna make it work every time. G2 leading early in game number 2. Currently 6-0, the score line across the series.
Oh man.
My goodness.
Might have to add Atomic to the list if I don't want to see him behind the ball on any type of dribble, be it on the ground or in the air. So many different looks to handle.
Drees trying to connect with Mist upfield. EnVy still looking for that first goal. Here's Drees off the back wall. And a miss from Atomic will open it up. Turbo Pulsa going to find the first goal here for EnVy.
Looks to me like Atomic. I went to his camera real quick. I think he was playing the double tap from Drees. I think he was trying to get the block, and I think he may have just miscalculated that Drees couldn't actually reach it, and he probably could have just played that as off the bounce instead.
On
but
first touch.
One way or the other, ends up with the miss, and that will definitely cost you.
And EnVy going to get on the board. 5 goals in game number 1. Doesn't really matter. It's still just a 1-game win. As long as you're able to keep things close moving forward, EnVy fans will have plenty of hope. Drees off the wall. Turbo Pulsa in the middle with Chicago in control high in the sky. Wins the challenge against Turbo. And now Drees trying to stop it in the corner. Will get 1 touch and then chase it down himself. Turbo Pulsa picks up midfield boost and I feel like causes some confusion here on rotation, though, that stalls out EnVy in the midfield.
Can't say you're too surprised about that. I mean, Drees certainly called that he had no boost. If you noticed, he kind of wave dashed up the wall as that one's going to get pinched around on the corner for JNAPS to collect. And Drees, I think, 78. Just a little late. And Mist was so committed to Drees coming out on top of that challenge. He was playing tight support in the corner, ready to move up the pitch and have to get punted back over your shoulder. No way to make the save.
Yeah, no, that traffic jam that EnVy ran into by their own volition over on the side. Suddenly all 3 players are having to turn and burn across the field and figure out, all right, who's going where, who's going what, and you got so much momentum behind you if you kill it at all to try and calculate. G2 gets the shot for free, so Drees has to dive in, Miss has to just cover one side of the goal, and G2 so much more composed in their positioning leading into that goal, easily take the lead back.
Definitely helps as well that they're playing an excellent map control game in terms of the boost. Multiple times EnVy having to wait. That's a good pass to Turbo, but Atomic all over it. Can read Drees' car language. And Chicago is saying, JNAPS, I'm going to need help. And it will count. I thought Drees was going to make it. He was so close, but not enough.
I think he touched it here. Chicago off the backboard. Well played, and then Drees, he clangs around the corner, but still goes in. Rough one for him. The free backboard, though, you cannot give G2 that free real estate.
It was tough. EnVy was pushing up the field there, trying to make something happen. They knew they needed to score 2. Time was dwindling. You're starting to play a little more aggressive. You go and try and chase down the big clear up the pitch, and unfortunately, they just hit you with that quick, strong clear right through a teammate, and all of a sudden you're just out of position and you're kind of diving a Chicago one-on-one with Mist towards the backboard. That's an excellent clear, but then again, there's that map control from G2. They go through and steal all the corner boosts, and so tough to go on effective counterattacks when you got nothing in the tank.
Here's Turbo. Moving on the field. Speaking of nothing in the tank, a total of 30 boost between all of EnVy right now. Finally, they'll find some big pads. And now Atomic dropping it into the box again. And Turbo not able to win the challenge. Drees off the wall. 6 boost in his tank as he connects with Mist. Right in midfield. Atomic will stop it. Fly after it. Force Drees into the sky after him. Man, you're hitting the nail on the head here. This boost situation for EnVy.
It's tough.
Absolutely damning. There's nothing you can do.
It has been an issue for sure, and still not out of it. It is best of 7. They do have a little bit, but you do know that going into these next games, perhaps securing your own corner boost may be a bit higher of a priority than it initially would have been, as Turbo going to drop the flip reset 2-1 and nothing for anybody. Oh, wait. Let's see if he hits it.
For the fun of it, pad the stats a little more. Dangerous.
Okay, back the other way.
Threes.
Let's give him 2 for EnVy.
Not going to happen there. G2, 2 games up, 2 games down. And at this point, I'm waiting for the timeout call. EnVy 100% outgunned in both these games. And when you can barely keep any resource in your tank, it's going to just make it even more difficult here. I mean, what is even the solution here? How do you stop this domineering control that G2's been able to manufacture?
That is a brilliant question. I would say normally if you're getting boost starved, there is the level of risk that you kind of have to be willing to accept. You know, someone's got to try and go for a challenge. You know, they're going to be stuck out towards that midfield line. Maybe take a chance, go out, steal some boost from the opposite end of the pitch, come back through. Maybe you find a demo on the way back, but it puts a lot of pressure on the 2 people behind you in the net. And if you've got a sub in TurboPulsar who's been out of it for at least a couple of months, it almost feels like you're playing, you know, the 3 or 2 on 1.5 instead of the 3 on 2. And that's just a little too dicey, I think. And EnVy may just be focused on trying to contain G2 as much as possible. But it's a very difficult log to balance on if you're EnVy right now.
Cleaning up your rotations too. Cleaning up, I don't know, maybe the wrong word imagery there. I feel like I'm seeing them so
it's the
much
misunderstanding of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, they haven't played with Turbo for a while, and like,
yeah. And when you're in the same place too, when we're seeing them like just occupying the same physical space, not exactly double committing, but just putting too much coverage in one area. Yeah, there's boost is very evenly spread across the pitch. You need to be evenly spread across the pitch to have access to it for everyone, because only one person can collect it at a time in any given area. It's going to make it even. You're going to sort of be, hampering yourself. Here's JNaps to the sky, though. Clever play. Drees will take it away from him. Chase this down. Beaten by Chicago. Now JNaps out to Atomic. G2 now up on offense. They've got Chicago waiting outside the box. Keeps on the backboard. JNaps wants to come in, but not going to happen. Missed. Got him covered up.
That bounce was so good. I think they're glad that JNaps was playing that far back. Atomic wants to tomahawk one straight down into the net. Can't quite handle it. JNaps just pokes it into the corner for a little bit of ball control to slow down that EnVy counterattack, and Chicago and Turbo will trade a little paint to slow it down.
Atomic falling on this one. Past 1 defender, now past 2. Demolished, but space earned, and TurboPulsar, the only player back, has to wait. JNaps next with Chicago. Shot on target. Missed. Will get the block, and Turbo extends it into the corner slightly. Atomic now trying to create more pressure and control, but losing to Mist. Turbo now on the challenge. Through 1. Chicago off the backboard. Leaves it alone. Doesn't touch it, and Turbo gets a goal. EnVy enjoying their first lead.
Now that's kind of the unforced error. JNaps there gets the pressure put on him by Mist, has to jump, and Chicago, I think he definitely want to just pop that off the wall. Either way, even if he didn't and he was resetting himself on the wall, well, that just opens him up to the exact situation that ended up playing out, this quick shot into the net before you can really get across the goal. So kind of an unforced error in my head is JNaps one-on-one with Mist, and he's going to go behind him. Now that's just not fair. I mean, Mist has to see this catch from JNaps as he worked through his 2 teammates, and he knows that JNaps has that far side, so he's committed to driving across, and JNaps lets the car go a little further, tips it behind him. Ugh, gross.
JNaps' shot to lose so many opportunities in front of him. How does he want to play it? Just waits for what Mist commits to and then goes to the other side. Such a wild development, too. JNaps got heavily smokescreened on the demo on the wall and then still manages to beat Drees, Turbo, and Mist 1, 2, 3 to tie the game.
Huge recovery after an error, really, from Chicago, to be honest. Big pass across, and that's a little too hot to handle. So G2 got to be quite chuffed to find themselves in this situation.
Atomic reaching for it, not going to make it happen. Approaching halftime, tie game. EnVy yet to get a win in the series.
Now that I don't like. I don't like the punt there from Turbo. G2 really just gave you the ball for free, to be honest. And possession has been something that's been pretty tough for them to come by in general. And the punt game, when you have a free trap, to at least make sure that everyone's like, okay, are we going upfield? Do we have enough to make it work or anything like that? I feel like the dribble is just far more valuable.
It did seem like EnVy was ready for the punt, though. They moved upfield pretty quickly. Turbo actually got the next touch on the ball after the punt. And the only problem with dribbles, I see your point. The thing with the dribble is like it does take just an extra touch to gain control. And the split seconds that G2's given you there to move upfield, I don't know, maybe the single touch blast down the field is the best way to develop your position. Didn't work out for them either way, neither team really giving too much, but yeah, I don't, sometimes the punt does seem a little bit too ill thought through.
That is the eternal struggle of every Rocket League player is how fast can your brain calculate what you need to do? And the exact split second that you have to make it, to make the right choice every single time is never an easy thing. As JNaps to Chicago, one-on-one with Drees off the post, and Turbo is there to pull him out of the fire. Still going to stay tied up here.
What a play for Turbo. G2 was prowling. Now Drees an opportunity over the top of JNaps. It's off the crossbar. Gonna need some help from Turbo, but he doesn't come in on the coverage from JNaps. Got in his way, recognized JNaps was gonna be a wall he couldn't get through. Final minute of game 3. EnVy still looking for that first win. Tie game, best situation they've had going into the final minute yet.
Oh, with the demo and the pass missed. What? Oh, man. I thought this one was dead in the water with Turbo ripping that up the ceiling. I was like, oh, that has to be on net. But Drees went and got that ball. Way to go. And Turbo with the follow through. Gonna demo the defense and give themselves a lead here in game 3. Way to piece that one together.
The front line of G2 double committing high in the sky in a difficult spot to recover from. Left that one defender down. Great recognition from EnVy to go for the block, get the demo, and open it up. They got 2 free shots on an open net. And now the lead in game 3, 35 seconds left. Can G2 come back? Chicago threw one to the empty backboard. Not empty at all. Drees is there. Now Turbo. Nope. JNaps got it past him. Now Chicago around the corner. Jeez. Turbo back to Atomic. Such pressure here from G2. Covered up. 13 seconds left. Chicago back to Atomic. Placed well again.
Another one.
JNaps trying out. No, the demolition. JNaps and Atomic. Oh dear, this is an awkward situation with 5 seconds left. Can they tie it and send it to overtime? Chicago.
Oh, nice.
To the midfield. Atomic to the sky. Chicago's up. Keeping it high. JNaps is there onto the backboard. Turbo clears it away. And now Chicago leaving it for Atomic here. This one should die. No, JNaps somehow keeps it up. Chicago back around. Drees into the ground. Atomic to the wall once more. And finally, momentum will die. And EnVy take game 3.
Now, that was quite well done from EnVy. That last defensive sequence with G2 pressing, they were trying to get themselves out in front of the ball. They were like, we need to go demo that guy in the net, give ourselves a chance if it comes out into the middle, and missed. He's the one who made the big stop. He was consistently getting pushed into the back corner of his net just to avoid that G2 team. And he was able to dive all the way across and make a big stop on that shot. And even still after that, Turbo to take away the backboard clear, or the backboard double tap, I should say, out of the midfield. That was also a key touch at the end of the game. So really nice job on EnVy closing that one down. There was no guarantees you weren't going to overtime there.
Turbo in chat said, we figured it out now. And then immediately missed his downloaded. So EnVy declaring they've got this one on lock. Excited to see how that holds up here, but a much more even game from both sides here. I'm excited to see if they're able to keep that going here in game 4.
Anyone who says they've downloaded G2, give the rest of North America the playbook. I guess except FaZe, they figured it out today.
How do I get that USB stick? Here's Chicago. Back to JNaps. Midfield transition. Turning back around. And not going to work out as Mystic sends it to the backboard. Atomic is just enough of a touch to send it to the corner and then dunk Turbo. Here they come. JNaps and Atomic on top of each other, but just careening down the field. Drees off the back wall. Just dribbling over the top of Chicago. Takes to the sky. Straight rocket play. Makes the stop. Now G2 advancing into the corner, pressuring back in front of the box. No one there for the shot, though. Atomic and Chicago deep in their own third.
It's like, I think not even JNaps was expecting to be uncontested as he pushed into the corner, and so he just didn't have anything else to do. Pass to Atomic, a little too high off the wall. JNaps gets bumped out by Turbo, and EnVy definitely trying to open a few holes in the midfield of G2.
Turbo dropping a miss, covered up Atomic. We'll get the clear. JNaps is there, but pinches with Turbo. Caddy corner to Atomic, spawn in the corner. They'll blast it to the other side of the field. The ball doing laps very quickly here. Atomic will get another block on the goal line. Dropped back in. Turbo doesn't make a touch. It was over his head. Very difficult reaction to make. We'll stay scoreless.
He did the perfect hit. And unfortunately, like you said, a little too hot to handle. And EnVy going to remain scoreless. But this has definitely been, I think, the best opening of a game for EnVy so far. Already a minute and a half deep, and they're definitely the ones pushing. Maybe downloaded. They are.
EnVy understands. Here's Mist over Chicago. Behind him. We'll kind of get the side challenge there that he's missed a free win. Now Turbo winning another one in the corner. JNap's loft. Turbo looks for the bump, doesn't find it. JNap's the second touch, countered by Drees on the wall. And G2 struggling to get out of their own half. Finally, they'll break through. But for how long? Drees and Mist the tag team. This one, Atomic takes a little bit of time here. Trying to connect with JNap's, just gets tangled up with Drees in the sky. Chicago down to the backboard. Missed in goal. Doesn't get the need to block it. It goes off the crossbar instead. Not quite able to double tap that.
And Atomic was taking a very conservative approach to the defense. He knew that Chicago was going to go and push up, hit that one towards the wall, and instead of playing support, in case it got cleared out, he decided to run all the way away, even though the ball made it through the EnVy defense. Couldn't count on it for sure and didn't want to allow a guaranteed counterattack. That's just G2 understanding that there is a little bit of give and take in Rocket League. If you're going to make the big play and outplay the defense, sometimes you got to leave it in the hands of one guy as Mist misses the chance right there.
Drees, upfield Chicago, immediate counter. A Turbo pinches on the wall, just keeping pace on the ball, making it more difficult for everybody to read. Mist versus Atomic. Flips to midfield. Drees will try to close the gap and maintain control, but JNap's Chicago have other ideas. Towards the goal, Turbo with a block. JNap's looking at it, but stays on the ground until it's in the corner. Now needs to find a pass. Chicago trying to find a bump on Turbo. Turbo not easily moved. There's JNap's onto the backboard. Free space here.
And G2 really just waiting. They're like, yeah, clear the ball.
Just lurking in front, waiting for a mistake, it feels like here. With 1:27 left to go, no goals here. First time we've gone this deep before getting the scoring started.
I think that's okay if G2 wants to kind of just camp out and wait for EnVy to hit it clear, because they're going to be approaching it from a much better position than if they just threw themselves at every challenge in that EnVy corner. I think that patience may pay some dividends for G2 if they keep that up.
I mean, maintaining complete control of the midfield can only be so bad of an idea. Sure, let the other team run around in their own half all they want. Eventually, they're going to make a mistake. Here's Atomic, back in the box, Missed. Taken into the sky, Chicago thinking about challenging here, and will actually get the block on two, but Turbo's there. JNap's got caught on the wall, and Turbo takes the lead.
Oh, that's tragic. Hang on. Did he get bumped or anything? I got to go to his camera. Oh, he got bumped by Atomic. Oh, and he tried to recover. The fact he's even that close is amazing. Oh, man. That's so unfortunate if you're G2. That's a tough one to give up.
40 seconds left. Similar situation to the end of game 3. A final minute drill here just to tie. Chicago up for it. He drops it back down. 29 seconds. JNap's out of his corner. Extends to the mid. Drees is the only one in the air. All of G2, full tanks. Atomic blasted down the pitch. JNap's will win a challenge. 15 seconds left. Cheers, Chicago.
Some boost.
Back across the boost. Atomic to the outside. JNap's 10 seconds left. The post decides it to shine favorably on G2. We got a tie game.
Wow, what a challenge from JNap's. I mean, that's not even really Turbo's fault. JNap's is just trying to control that ball, maybe go for the wall and a quick double tap that maybe catches the defense off, but Turbo's landing skims off his wheels, changes the angle of the ball into JNap's car, and it goes posting in? Ugh.
Gotta love physics-based esports. We take those. G2 fans say loudly.
They might
score. That was close. They haven't been able to keep that one on the hoods. Could have stolen the game, but no. Overtime for the first time this series.
What do you do, EnVy? You know, G2 is definitely more focused around controlling the clear game, and what's your answer to that?
Chicago on the outside. EnVy successfully thwarting another kickoff attempt. The Atomic was drawing up. Outside Chicago on the back. Wall descended to the goal. Blocked by Drees on the goal line. With a monster clear. JNAP's out of the backfield now, having to start over.
G2 is really trying to piece things together with not a lot of boost on the first man forward, but that's why those double boost deals come into effect here in the corner. They're through. Everybody missed. Is going out to the corner. He's going to turn around. Great understanding of where the play is headed. He knew he needed to make a play. Stopped on a dime, made the save, floaters towards the net. G2 continues to steal boost in the corners. And what is EnVy going to do about it?
JNAP's in the midfield. Atomic. Lots of space. Blasted to the backboard. Drees will try to close on this, pick it up after the rebound.
Whoa.
And a miss from Turbo here. JNAP's open. Drops it in. Cleared by Miss in the inside out. They'll keep playing a minute in overtime.
G2 understood perfectly what all the boost deals means. They're not going to be on the backboard. They can't play backboard defense. There's a pass to Atomic. Again, Mist is able to cut it out. G2 and JNAP's rightfully here taking his time, and he's going to sneak through everybody. They're trying to figure out what he wants to do with this ball in the corner. And JNAP's is like, yeah, the easy 1-2 touch. What else is it going to be?
No, there was a bit of a double commit situation. Missed Drees flying to the other side, and the ball pinches out to the other end of the field to JNAP's. Suddenly, it's JNAP's versus Turbo in a dribble battle. And I'm sorry, I love Turbo Pulse, but I'm putting my money on JNAP's every time. Uses the wall so well. And G2 now got EnVy on match point.
That closing goal, 100% the boost control game. I mean, if EnVy's not sitting there getting corner boost stolen over and over and over right there, there's probably a lot more structure to their defense. There's not that awkward double commit that puts Turbo in the one-on-one. I mean, that was just death by Python grip for G2 at the end of overtime. That was tough to handle.
Suffocating drive. And Turbo, you see in there, Turbo's just like, how? Yeah. I think his only option is just a tackle. Is just to drive straight at him, take away all of his opportunities, hope he makes a mistake. But no, the moment you get the stutter step, JNAP's can put the ball anywhere, receive it himself, and put it into the goal there. G2, one away from knocking EnVy out of the third regional here and advancing the lower semis.
Huge for G2, especially on the regain after losing the previous match. And you're thinking, man, EnVy certainly figured something out, because we're definitely not putting the same pressure on him. Even the start of that game 4 was actually really, really good for EnVy. You know, I felt like a minute and a half or so. It was like, yeah, they're pressing. They do know what G2's up to. And then G2 said, great, bring us the ball. And EnVy was just like, what?
If you say so. JNAP's to Atomic here. Oh, blocked by Miss, but the follow-up from JNAP's is good. G2 drew it up well and executed with perfection.
I really like this pass to Atomic. It isolates Mist and forces him to make a play. And honestly, Turbo was pretty close to getting away with a touch out there into the safety of the corner. Unfortunately, just went right over his nose. And at that point, I mean, JNAP's knows he's got the whole net to work with. So really solid press. And again, understanding that positioning is key. Isolate the defender, make them show their hand, and after that point, you see what they give you.
Especially when you're able to isolate him there, like on the edge of the box. Like,
yeah,
that pass is what opens up JNAP's to the entire goal. Now Atomic on the outside, looking to put away the series here in Game 5.
What if EnVy just sent Turbo on the demo everybody movement? Let us 2v3, just go hit people. I would love to see them try that for whatever reason.
I feel like it would work for one game.
It might work for one game.
And then they quickly adjust and just stay on the ceiling the whole time.
Oh, they might score 2 here.
Oh, and JNAP's looking for it. Mist and Turbo tangled up on the wall. All 3 EnVy players throw a blanket over them. Put it in front of the box for JNAP. Soft touch, though. Turbo and Drees will clear this one away. Now Chicago looking for a tap with more power this time. Mist and Turbo again on top of each other. And Drees getting bumped in the corner. EnVy in shambles right now. They do find a clear, but that's all they've found so far. Everything else, G2.
Ooh, man, great first touch. And JNAP's at least stalls out the counter push. Really nice handling from him. Chicago 1-on-2, and he says, forget all that. I'm going to try and get a boost deal. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite up yet, so EnVy well in control on their own half for now, despite being down.
Chicago and Turbo. Send the ball high. Atomic down the corner. Out of boost. JNAP's down to the sky. Mist will block. EnVy starting to control more of the midfield. Off the wall, Drees with space, trying to look for Turbo, but broken up. JNAP's on the passing lane. Missed on the outside here now, in his own corner. Got 2 players in front of him. Chicago will take the ball off his hood, but Drees on the follow-up now, trying to put the ball back to Mist, gives it to Turbo behind instead. He'll get it to the backboard. No goal yet.
EnVy was pushing there too. They had 2 people in front of the ball. They were putting the pressure on the net and having, I think it was Chicago coming through and just take that one away on the rotation back. That was big for G2. I think it was very possible they concede there with how much physicality EnVy was putting on the goal line. EnVy definitely aware that that's a good option at this time. Chicago, a little backflip to take it over Mist. One-on-one back the other way and a dead chopstick ball in the middle. And out to the sidewall for neutrality's sake.
Mist here. Looking for the musty? Nah, doesn't go for it. Just threatening it for a second. Now Turbo gets a touch before being demolished. Atomic now. Down the middle of the field, Drees will break it up. Chicago out of the third man now to the sky. Mist gets it past him instead, and Drees to the corner. JNap's in front of him here. Stalls him out, flicks to the outside, holds on to ball control. Look at this dribble from Drees. Flip reset as well. Over the top of Chicago. Missed to try and be Atomic, but no, and Turbo's in to follow up. All of G2 dismantled on this dribble.
The old reliable Drees, great job breaking down multiple defenders. Missed, way to make sure the clear doesn't come through. Turbo, wait your turn. You've done your job. Put it in the middle with everybody out of the net. Great play from EnVy. Huge opening from Drees. Well done.
Classic Turbo goal. The king of positioning. Here's Atomic off the back wall, set up to JNaps, and they immediately take the lead back. Nice play you guys had there. You forgot about the kickoffs, though.
Man, Atomic. You can't blame either Drees or Mist for freezing in the net there, because it is entirely possible that Atomic puts that one in between the goalposts. And it's just all respect to JNaps for being able to get up there in time and snapshot that one right into the net off the bounce. No time to react for the defense.
G2 are incredible, and Atomic keeps opening up opportunities. Give him a goal as well, trying to put this game away.
And Turbo, not a bad play, taking that out into the corner. Unfortunately, it does count as a double commit because Drees was going 2. And that's just a little bit of what you were talking about previously in the series wave. There's definitely a little bit of a hiccup there in the communication or in the understanding of what people want to do. And that's a little bit of that rust that EnVy just hasn't quite had enough time to really shake off.
JNap's now here in front. As G2 had another great look following kickoff. Chicago runs into Turbo. Now Mist. Looking for control here. Drees takes it away from him on the ground on the dribble. He's got Mist in the midfield. Can he get through Chicago? Goes for the slow play. Sets up Mist and does. Connects for the first one. They need 2 to tie the game.
Chicago absolutely tongue-tied here looking at Drees. Jumped so early. Talk about showing your hand. That was it. Don't know what he was quite worried about. Maybe Drees getting behind the ball in the corner and popping it out to a teammate. And he just went a little too early, but one way or the other, that one was always destined for the back.
Drees' small ball control here has been
great,
improving, it seems, as the series goes on, to where normal positions for other players would seem ill-threatened. For when Drees is there with the ball, the options are just endless for him. Here's Turbo looking for bumps instead of play. Out to the corner. Can he find the pass? Off the backboard, looking to chase it down himself. JNap's had to read Turbo. Drees not there on the follow-up either. 40 seconds left, though. G2, hold on to this lead. The series will end. EnVy's tournament going to end. On the outside, JNap's. Over the top of Mist. Turbo rolls this around. 25 seconds left.
Time waster. Atomic might be the biggest problem for EnVy, apart from JNap's on the goal line in this final 15.
Atomic has been the problem for most teams, I feel like. 10 seconds left. As JNap's punts it to the sky. Drees to Turbo, possibly? No. Chicago extends it to the backboard. Follow up, though. Turbo back out to Drees. To the corner. It's off the crossbar and down. Great effort from EnVy at the end, but G2 will win it in 5.
Really solid effort from EnVy. I think they definitely made G2 work for it, but if you're G2, you definitely knew that this one was your match to come in and win, and they definitely controlled it throughout most of it. There were a couple of flashes of brilliance from EnVy. Drees had a couple of great setups, really good opportunities, and breaking down some of the toughest defenders in North America at the moment. So good showing from him. Turbo, you had a fantastic show this weekend. It was good to see you back on the pitch. Performed admirably. Missed, as always, an almost unbreakable wall in the net. But even the great machine needs a little tune-up every now and again. And G2, absolutely wrenching the gears. Destruction.
It has been that story for G2 versus any team this entire split. Oftentimes, a team wins a large LAN event, a major, and we see a fall off after that. Not the case with G2. They have only gotten stronger here in spring. We'll see them play in the lower semifinals. Who are they going to play against, though? We're going to find that out next. Take a quick break. When we come back, Space Station taking on Complexity.